Every candle tells a story. Every trade changes a life. DeWalt. Mind Pillar.
Wake up early, screens alive. Bitcoin moving, feel the vibe. Trading through the highs and lows. Only real ones really know. Hard code, mindset clean. Living every crypto dream. Mind pillar up all night. Searching for the perfect light. No sleep, no fear. Another level every year. DeWalt, take control tonight. Mind pillar, we're born to rise. Charts moving in the city lights. Bitcoin shining through the night. Mind pillar will never die.
This is more than money. This is legacy. Every candle tells a story. Every trade changes a life. DeWalt. Mind Pillar.
Wake up early, screens alive. Bitcoin moving, feel the vibe. Trading through the highs and lows. Only real ones really know. Heart cold, mindset clean. Living every crypto dream. Mind pillar up all night. Searching for the perfect life. No sleep, no fear. Another level every year. DeWalt, take control tonight. Mind pillar, we're born to rise. Charts moving in the city lights. Bitcoin shining through the night. Mind pillar will never die.
Mind Pillar.
To the moon.
This is more than money. This is legacy.
Alright legends, hope you're all having a fantastic Monday. Hope you all enjoyed the weekend. Let's do some technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. And remember, always have to start off with a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I simply share with you how I approach the markets and how I trade the markets for entertainment and educational purposes. I encourage you to do your own research, and you are in charge of your own portfolio, your own cash. Okay. Right, legends, let me switch myself on. Right, there we go. Oh man, what a nice little trade that played out that I shared inside of the community. It wasn't a big trade that I took, but hey man, you just follow your strategy. Okay, position is already protected basically. Okay, already protected position. I already protected position and took some profits here to the upside. Nice little scalp here to the upside. Okay, I like to start taking profits for those community members that are watching. Okay, I like to start taking profits before the police comes. So although I am targeting the highs, I already started taking profits in this zone, because I like to say I like to get out before the police comes. Definitely I'm leaving a runner because price can continue here to the upside based on the bullish scenarios that I already shared inside of the community. So I was already in a short. I was looking for that long. Okay, and now I'm in the long. So if price can continue this momentum here to the upside, well, now I have a nice little hedge position against my short, finally. Okay, if price falls to the downside, I've already shared inside of the community where I will be looking for longs once again. But now we need to analyze what is going on here. Is price going to continue momentum here to the upside? There is some nice little buying pressure kicking in here from a volume perspective. There's a good chance that price can go and claim that damn high, okay, where I will take a little bit more profits if price takes the high. And let's start the technical analysis. But before I do so, let me go through the comms section and just put the music a little bit softer there in the background. There we go. Where's my comms section? Let me bring that up. Here we go. Jonathan, here we go, legends. Got mercy to stream for us. Let's go. Welcome to the live stream. Always great to see everyone popping in here. Dedicated traders on a Monday. Okay, Mark Dutch. Always appreciate the mods. Afternoon, everyone. Hit that like button on your way in if you haven't. Remember to do so just as yet. Okay, Dominique, hello back. Yes, yesterday live stream, today live stream, tomorrow there will be another live stream, and the day after that. Hopefully, you know, if I don't get sick or anything like that, but touch wood, I'm a healthy horse. Okay. But even if I'm sick, I'll still provide updates at least inside of the community, because that's where the action happens. That's where I posted this little trade. It was a scalp trade, okay? And that's now turning into a nice little trade here to the upside, but it can turn into a swing trade or a day trade at least, okay? This little scalp can turn into a day trade, maybe even into a swing trade. I will definitely leave some of the position open to run here to the upside. I am still, whoops, let me just do this again. I am still in a short from higher up, okay? And I was looking for a long to hedge against my short. Now I'm in this long. Position is now protected. I already took profits. Okay, that's how I roll. That's how I trade. And I can only share with you how I approach the markets. You might have a different trading strategy, a different plan. I encourage you to follow your plan. Okay. Right. Remember, if you do want to join the community, I do spend most of my time inside of the community. I can't always be live 24/7 here on YouTube. Send me the word access. There's my Telegram. And I'll send you the instructions on how you can join the community. There's many ways in how to get into the community. One of the ways where you can get free access is you sign up with one of the exchange partners down below. You deposit $500 into your futures account, your money to trade with. Okay, but because you're supporting me by signing up with one of the affiliate partners, it's your money. I will give you 2 months free access inside of the community. That's one of the ways to get in. So you don't have to pay. There's also a subscription model where you pay monthly, a subscription fee. But I see most people prefer just to trade with their own cash and get free access. Why not? I mean, that's something definitely that I would have done as well. Now we need to analyze what is. Ooh, did we almost claim the high? Almost claimed the high. Okay, Mr. A Trader, welcome to the live stream. Let me just finish up the comments and then I'm going to dive into the technical analysis. Yes, I am here on the 3-minute time frame. Okay, but I was watching this trade. I did post it inside of the community when it was time to execute. Okay, you can actually see where my entry is. My entry is there. And you might be asking yourself, how on earth did you get this entry if it only broke out there? I will share with you how I was tracking this momentum. Okay, and this trade was taken purely based on the D-line strategy, which I wanted to take in my week's account, but I didn't have time to sign in. So I just took it on bluffing. Right, let me just wrap up the comment section and then we can get the party on the road. Alex Devil, you're the best. You're right about not trading over the weekend. Learned a lot over this last one. Should not do it. Yes, Alex, I prefer to stay out of the market. But also when there's international public holidays, when the markets are closed, I also prefer not to trade. It's just, I don't like it. There's low liquidity. I've sent many messages inside of the community also explaining why it's better to trade when the markets are open. Okay, there's a whole list of benefits that I prefer to trade when the markets are open. Okay, and I'll share that again inside of the community in case you were curious, because I see some people, they just want to trade every single day. Okay, nothing wrong with that. If you apply your plan, if you execute your plan and apply your risk management rules, I don't like to trade on weekends. Okay, also when I used to trade on weekends, I'm going to give you one guess. According to my trading journal, when during the week did I lose the most amount of money? On weekends. So I stopped trading on weekends. Not because I want off and I don't want to do anything, but my trading journal told me, Devil, you're losing a lot of the profits that you made during the week on weekends. Stop trading on weekends. And then I did research into weekend trading on Bitcoin, and I saw the liquidity and everything else that goes hand in hand with it. But yeah, not for me. I don't like to trade on weekends. Even when I did the live stream yesterday, I did not place any trades. I do not trade on weekends unless there's something extremely obvious and I can apply my rules. But yes, guys, you know, the last time I traded on a weekend, I can't even remember when. Okay, but sometimes I will, depending on what price gives me. If I'm alone, if I'm home alone, you know, nothing else to do, maybe I'll scalp. Right, possible dump. Yes, there's still a possibility for a dump, and we need to analyze that. 67 is a call wall. Do you ever monitor GEX? I don't even know what GEX stands for. No, so the answer is no. Okay, guys, I know there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different trading strategies. I don't know all of them. I know that I have tried hundreds of trading strategies when I started out, but I can't even remember half of them. I used to trade on moving averages, Bollinger Bands, MACDs. Oh man, the list goes on. Lux indicators. I don't even know what you called all those strategies, but anyways, I did soon realize that it's not the strategy that's the problem. It was an ID10T issue. Okay. Afternoon, Captain Devil. Hope you're well. I am well. Wayne, welcome to the live stream. I changed my channel name Dutchy, but YouTube decided to display about only. Right. Oh, I see. Cool. Devil, I had open long much lower and I added to the position with the D-line plan you showed us today. Nice call. Thanks. Olivier. Well done. Well done, man. Okay. That is definitely a strategy that I like to follow as well. Is sometimes when I'm in from lower or higher, I will add to the position depending on if I see strength or weakness. Okay. That is just maximizing profits. Okay. Great. Right. Let's pump. The same scenario of pump, dump, December. What are the probabilities BTC will go to 50K? We can discuss that. Sensei. I'll just call you Sensei, trader, Sensei, okay, for the purposes of keeping it clean here on the channel. Sensei trader, we are going to discuss a little bit of, it's Monday, so let's do a little bit of high time frame analysis, and then we can dive here into the, okay, 3-minute time frame as well. Okay, so let's zoom out. Just quickly, before I jump off of this screen, the reason I stayed in this trade because I was ready to jump into a short, on a different account if something happened over here. And I was literally, to keep it simple, I was watching the 0.618. This is why I still have this trend here. I was watching this. So when price broke out and it started falling back to the downside, I was watching this line. And if price tapped that line, I would have entered a short with my stop above the high, and I would have posted that inside of the community. Price turned around before it tapped the 0.618 and claimed the high, because that invalidates an impulsive structure. Simply said, that invalidates an impulsive structure. So if I see a 3-wave structure to the upside and price falls down and taps the 0.618, then it's a higher probability ABC and price is going to continue to the downside. So I was watching this level like a hawk. Okay. Obviously, price has now continued here to the upside without claiming the 0.618, so did not open the short, did not post the update inside of the community. But these are just some of the things that I watch when I do enter longs and shorts to see if it's a higher probability impulse. Also, you know, I know that from a technical perspective, you could also say, well, what if it's a double 1-2 and it continues? Well, second 1-2 much larger than this first 1-2, so lower the probability. But anyways, it looks like it formed a nice little impulsive structure here to the upside. So a pullback, okay, if price does pull back, could be another interesting longing opportunity to join the momentum back to the upside. Remember, guys, this is 1 minute, 3 minute shenanigans. Okay, lots of noise in the chart. Okay, I am still looking for the bigger trades. This is just a scalp that could turn into a day trade, maybe even into a swing trade. Okay, so this one I need to add to my folder. Right, I'm going to add it here to my positions. And then we can clean it up. And I can delete all this. Okay, so also from an education perspective, because this is what I shared inside of the community, why, okay, before I jump off this time frame, I'm gonna go into the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame now. Why is my entry over there and not there based on the D-line strategy? Because let me just switch on all my trends. This is how I was tracking it. Okay, this trend was here. Sorry guys, and let me just find my marbles. This trend was here. This trend did not exist yet. Okay, and then I was tracking this momentum. Yeah, I think this was it. I need to open up the community so that I don't talk through my, you know what. Okay. Let me do this. Right. That's basically how I tracked it, guys. Okay, and this is why I entered over there. So I was tracking prices above this major trend over here. It formed a little bull flag. Price broke out of the bull flag and formed another bull flag. So I entered right over there. Okay. And now price broke out and got continuation to the upside. And then I just adjusted my trends. Okay. Right, so I basically entered this breakout. In case you were wondering, whoops, let me just redo that. Switch this off, and now I can delete these trends. So it was basically a D-line breakout strategy that I followed. Now, I want to go on to the 1 hour time frame and discuss quickly what could still potentially play out here based on this structure. Okay, this structure is not out of the woods yet from a bearish perspective. Okay, and it's basically, I'm not sure if I spoke about this yesterday, but let's quickly go through it, and I'm just keeping it simple, and it is basically where did I put you? Where did I save you? Most bearish. Is it this one? I think it was an alternative, but yeah, I know about that one, but it was the alternative that I, for some reason, there we go. Sorry guys, that took a while. Okay, there we go. So this is still a scenario where price can still take the low. Okay, price can still take the low, and this scenario has a clear invalidation at the 0.618, which is $70,814. When I draw a channel from wave 1 and 2, you can see that price has not even tapped the bottom of the channel yet. This little orange block that I have is a target for wave 4. So if price, okay, I know this is higher time frame stuff here on the 1 hour time frame. if price continues up here, stops me out of my short, this is why, okay, I'm going to leave a runner for this trade because it can continue momentum here to the upside. The next trading opportunity for me is obviously the 0.5, basically claiming the high of A, where price forms a larger A, B, C here to the upside. Okay, three-wave structure. Price can still reject and fall down to claim the low again. And then price has formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure to the downside. Definitely a zone where I will be looking for a long. So this scenario has still not been invalidated. What will start reducing the probabilities for this scenario is if price continues momentum to the upside and it taps the top of the channel. Okay, maybe it even goes sideways and it taps the top over here, but it doesn't hit the 0.618 yet. It's not common for a fourth wave. Let me just do this. It's not common for a fourth wave to get outside of the channel. It can happen because the official invalidation is the 0.618, but it's not common to see the fourth wave tap the top of the channel. So basically what I'm trying to highlight over here is as long as price is below this channel, it can still fall, and it can still fall, and it can still fall. This is bearish territory. It's below the channel, bearish territory. The bulls needs to claim the top of the channel to open up the doors, okay, to even go and claim that high. And it's basically a trend, okay? It's basically a trend. You're waiting for the D-line breakout over here. So most bearish case scenario that I see at the moment, well, a bearish case scenario that I see here at the moment is price basically, okay, rejecting. It's already inside of the orange zone. Price already dipped into the orange zone. So it doesn't have to go up. It can also fall and do it sooner, where I'll be looking for the long. So it doesn't first have to go up and then fall down. Price can also do it sooner. Just want to highlight that, okay, because price already tapped the orange box, which is also a fourth wave target. There's also a three-wave structure to the upside, 1, 2, 3. I must say it's not great to count this move down as an impulsive structure. It does look more corrective, and this is why I'm highlighting the scenario where price could go up again because of this. It's just based on probabilities, but we all know price can do whatever it wants, okay? It can do this over here. But if price does take the high, I will still be looking for a short at the 0.5, which is $68,575. Remember, this target might differ depending on which exchange or pair you use to do your technical analysis. Okay. Right, remember to smash up that like button if you do enjoy the education, okay, the analysis. And but basically what this boils down to, as long as price is below this channel, it can fall, and it can fall hard. Okay, so the bulls needs to claim the channel, and they need to get above this channel for us to flip a little bit more bullish in the long or in the medium term. Okay. Right, most bearish case scenario, which is more bearish than this scenario, is that price can still form another low. It can do this, and it can do it again, and it forms a triple bottom. Okay, and that's basically based on this count over here. Because this scenario, ironically, has also still not been invalidated. It is starting to carry lower probability because of the movement to the downside. This movement to the downside does not look like a clean, impulsive structure to the downside. And this is why I was focusing on the previous scenario that I've just shared. Okay, you can see that the invalidation is a little bit closer for this scenario. But in this scenario, price is basically forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And basically creates a triple bottom to the downside. Okay. Feels like price is scripted to coincide with real world events. You're taking TP. Is price, what is price doing here? Has claimed the high. Yes, guys, I'm going to take a little bit more off the table. Thanks for letting me know. I want to have this more or less the same position running to the upside than the short that I'm in at the moment. So I'm not going to take too much because I still want to leave a runner. So I am going to take 40% over here. Okay, so I have a slightly larger long running to the upside than the short that I'm in. Okay, so that's how I'm going to manage this trade. Obviously my position is protected. I already have profits. If I get stopped out, I'll get stopped out with profits. That's what's most important to me. Okay, but I'm leaving that runner to hedge against my short, so that if price continues here to the upside, stops me out of my short, then I make profits, okay, with a long. Basically my logic. Right, I'm just sharing with you how I approach the markets. Okay, so now that's basically what I see here on the 1 hour time frame. From a simplicity perspective, you could also say, well, you know, you're just waiting for the trend to break. Okay, this one I think already broke. So this is also the top of that channel, more or less the top of that channel, right? Which will reduce the probabilities for one more low. Can still happen. Okay. Now, I want to zoom out onto the 4 hour time frame and look at this entire structure. Where can price still reject? Okay, when I take a fixed range profile, it might, you know, I wanted to say based on simple technical analysis, but for some people this is not simple. Okay, price is approaching a very interesting zone. You can see that price for now is still trading below the range, which is still bearish. Price needs to get back inside of the range. Okay. And not reject at the point of control again, because that is where I took the short. That's the short that I'm currently in, is at that naked point of control. I need to go here on the 1 hour. Okay, that is where price rejected at the naked point of control. That's where I took the short. Price hits resistance, I'm interested in a short. Price hits support, I'm interested in a long. Okay, so I took advantage of the momentum here to the downside, because I know, and this is why I'm not closing that short and I'm not taking more profits. I've taken enough profits. I'm leaving a runner because I know that price can still fall down and not get acceptance back inside of the range. Maybe it claims the high again and then it falls down, but then I'll look for a new short that I've just spoken about, which is basically that 0.5, also the top of the range. Okay, so the bulls have their work cut out for them. Price is still, okay, it's not looking great yet for the bulls. It can happen, but for now, price is still below the range. Where it will start looking a lot better for the bulls is if price can get back inside, but also get above the point of control. Now that will look great for the bulls. Okay, because then it's also going to break that trend, invalidating a fourth wave. And then there's a chance, once price is back inside of the range, okay, range trading, for those of you, you get a deviation, and price could go and tap the top of the range again, and maybe create another deviation. Who knows? Okay, so from a resistance perspective, you can obviously see, just based on volume, okay, inside of this range, this is where the most amount of volume was traded. This is definitely a substantial area of resistance to the upside. A little bit further up, also where I will be looking for a short. Okay, and I think that's also the 8 hour order block, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, just want to see. Yep, it's almost there by the 8 hour order block that I have over here. You'll see if I go to the 8 hour time frame, just to recap, because I know I have discussed this before, there's an 8 hour order block. Okay, You might call me crazy for looking for shorts this high up. Why on earth is Devil looking for shorts this high up? Okay, price is bearish. It's going to fall down. Why is Devil talking about $72,000, $71,000? Because I need to have a plan. I don't know what price is going to do next, but I'm a day trader. If price comes to an area of interest where I have a trading plan, I can execute my trading plan. I'm looking to scrape my dollars from the market. So I will talk about levels that are higher up because I know price can get there. Okay. So interesting area of resistance here at the 8-hour order block. We'll see how that plays out. But I think in the short term, I know that I want to build a trading plan for here to catch a short, and I want to build a trading plan to catch that long. But price is here at the moment. So I want to focus on, well, is there a trading plan inside of this zone that I'm interested in at the moment? Okay. Yes, I think it's called, let me give you the fixed range volume profile. I have changed my settings. Okay, so you're more than welcome to copy my settings. I'll switch it on quickly and you can take a screenshot. There's my settings. Okay. Right, so you can take a screenshot and copy my settings because my lines are a lot thinner, which means it pinpoints the areas a lot better than having those thick bars. Okay, they're not accurate enough for me. Right, so now let's zoom into this little structure over here, because maybe before I jump onto, because it is Monday, I want to focus a little bit more. What could still play out, most bearish case scenario, is that this, ladies and gentlemen, where's my ABC? If you don't know the ABC and you haven't gone to school yet, or you didn't pay attention in school, well, there's an A, this can be a B, and it forms a C wave here to the upside. So that's definitely still a possibility. What needs to happen here to the downside is this structure has to form an impulsive structure. It's not looking great for the bulls, but it's not been invalidated because I do see an impulsive structure in a leading diagonal. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it can be a running flat where it doesn't claim the high, but it can give some upwards momentum here because C can also, not common to see this, but it can happen where C does not take the high of A. Okay, most common is C takes the high of A. So just to paint the picture, price can still rocket from here. Not impossible. And then price has formed a larger three-wave structure. Okay. I know some people will highlight time. Devil, time is an issue. Okay, the B wave is too short. If I take the time fib, because I love me some time, and I don't see a lot of technical analysts talk about time, but when I measure how long did it take to form the A wave and how long did it take to form the B wave, you can see that the B wave did not cross the 0.382, which is most common for at least the B wave to cross the 0.382. But then I also want to show you it has happened on the larger time frame before. Okay, because I can also do this and show you guys what happened here. Do you remember this ABC? This three-wave structure to the upside? Okay. When I take time, again, just to show you that this can happen, when I measure this A wave, you can see that this B also finished before the 0.382. So it can happen. Time is never an invalidation, it impacts probabilities. I have seen B waves be short. I've also seen X waves be very short. An X wave and a B wave, often they are short or they are very overextended, even crossing the 6-7 Fibonacci from a time perspective. They like to do one of the two, okay? So just want to show everyone that the B wave can be shorter. It's not an invalidation. Okay, so That's the most bullish case scenario. Most bearish case scenario I've already shared is that price is forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction up, and then I don't know what's going to happen there. We'll analyze it, but that could that could, and guys, if this turns into a wave 1 and this turns into a wave 2, it's not going to look great for the bulls. Okay, especially if the move here is choppy and overlappy. Basically this. If this happens over here, it's not going to look great for the bulls. Okay. So now I want to jump into 15-minute time frame and now focus on this little structure that has formed so far. So if price is going to form a massive C wave here to the upside, remember, and this is why it's so nice to do higher time frame analysis, because now you know which scenario I'm referring to. I'm talking about that massive C wave here to the upside that invalidates the impulse and continues. Okay, C wave here to the upside. This structure has to be counted as a bullish structure. So you're looking for an impulse. First of all, you look for an impulse. Let's go check. Okay. I am looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that didn't happen. Okay, it went too deep. There's overlap. Then I'm looking for, okay, maybe nested 1, 2s. 1, 2, 1, 2, and now price is going to rocket here to the upside in nested 1, 2s. It's not invalidated. The official invalidation for the nested 1, 2s is taking this low, but this 1 and 2 is much larger than this 1 and 2, and that impacts the probabilities, but it doesn't invalidate it. It's more common to see a large 1, 2, and then the second 1, 2 becomes smaller. It builds almost like a diagonal, and then it pops out in a 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay. So not invalidated, it just doesn't look great. Okay. Then I look for, because there's overlap, I look for a diagonal to say, okay, well, here we go again. We have a diagonal. These damn diagonals. Okay, and inside of this diagonal, I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Okay, so that is a bullish option. There's a chance that the low is in. Ka-ching, it already corrected itself. And remember what I said, that this structure counts better as a corrective structure than an impulsive structure. So there's a chance that this is the correction for this impulse. A bearish case scenario, which is still bullish, that can happen here, is that this corrective structure forms a larger three-wave structure, then it momentums back to the upside. Okay. And that's what I want to analyze here on the smaller time frame. That there's still a chance for price to reject, fall down, claim the lows, then bounce back to the upside. And this structure basically forms a larger three-wave structure. But there's a chance that the low could be in. Okay, and the reason I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt is because from a time perspective, again, from the low to the high, the low was made before the 0.382. But in leading diagonals, and I've said this many times before, and I'm sure the community members have heard me say this many times before, I have seen in leading diagonals that the 0.382 often does not get tapped or crossed in a leading diagonal specifically. I've seen them happen all the time, especially in crypto. So ideally, it would have been nice to do that. It didn't. But this is not an invalidation. But this is why I'm giving this scenario the benefit of the doubt, to say that, well, it can still form a larger corrective structure, maybe sweep the lows over here and then bounce back to the upside, and it forms a larger trend. Okay, and I will share with you now where I'm looking for this short. It needs to react. It needs to give me a way to get in, and if it just smashes through my levels, doesn't give me any momentum to get in, then I'm not taking the short. Right, Remember to smash up that like button. Let me go through some comments before I continue. I was hoping for a double top around here. Yeah, we can analyze that, but I mean, it already double topped from the 0.5. I think there's a chance that it could get some momentum here to the upside, but we're going to analyze the smaller time frames in a second. Okay, good day, legends. Welcome to the live stream. Was looking at that too. Yes, you always say it. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. Wayeb? People pay attention in class, because I know I've said it many times, okay, is that in leading diagonals, often the 0.382 does not get crossed, okay? So it's just interesting that what I've seen inside of the price of Bitcoin, okay? There's a naked point of control at, yes, we're going to talk about the levels to the up and to the downside. There's a lot of levels, okay? There is a lot of levels on the chart. I've already shared all of these levels inside of the community, and the first level here to the upside is almost tapped, so that is where I will consider the first short. Okay, and I'm just going to put an alarm at this level so that I can pay attention. That's where I'm going to, it's a level, guys, I need to pay attention. Okay, for me, it often doesn't matter how I count the structure. I need to pay attention to that level. If I can get in, maybe a little scalp, make $200, $300, $1,000 profit, get stopped out. I don't, it's worth the trade. It's worth the trade for me, because I know that this can form, okay, this can form an impulsive structure here. It rejects, it forms a higher low, and it continues, and I can take advantage of that and get stopped out and make profits. Right, so it can definitely form a rejection. It just needs to give me a way to get in with great risk management. It needs to do what I need to see for me to get in. Okay, but I've got my alarm set. I need to open up a new exchange if I want to take the short, because I'm not going to short my bluffing. I'm already in from higher up. Let's see if I can sign into... Let's see if I can sign into... Sorry guys, I'm just signing into another exchange. Let me just give you guys some music to listen to while I do this. Unfortunately, it takes me a little while to sign into exchange because I have all the security measures enabled. Oh, it's getting there. Am I gonna get in time? Damn it, damn it, damn it. I might not be able to take this short, guys, because I am still signing into my exchange. I should have done that this morning. That's the thing with having so much security. It takes you a while to get in, but I'd rather have that than people hack my account. Okay, I'm in. Thank goodness I'm in. Now, I want to see price pull back below that level. Oh, that's my emails that I had to open for the pins. Let me close that. Right. Got my exchange ready. I will carry on with the technical analysis. I just want to see if it's going to give me what I need to see for potential rejection. Price needs to get below my area of interest. As long as it's above, I'm not interested. It's also the 0. Oh no, there's no Fibonacci level there. Yo, what a sound. Tight stop loss. Let's see if I'm just managing this correctly. Okay, cool. There's a high chance I'm going to get stopped with this one, guys. It's a reaction. It's what I like to see. It's below my area of interest. I know where to put my stop loss. Always a high chance of getting stopped out, but it's a teeny weeny little stop loss. Okay, I'm willing to take the knock on that. It's less than 0. Oh God, it's a tiny amount, guys. It's less than 1% of my, way less than 1% of my portfolio here on 2bit. I'm using 2bit. The pro version, link is down in the description. Okay, I will share that trade. Let's see how this plays out, but I want to carry on with the technical analysis. I like these reactions, guys, and I'm a reactionary trader. You know, when price pierces a level that I have on my chart and it starts trading below, why am I entering? SFP. Where is my stop loss? Above the high. Where am I planning to take profits? Well, as soon as price hits this little resistance area, I'll start taking some profits. Protect position, cover fees, SL, whatever the case might be. Okay. If I get stopped out, well, then I'm looking at the levels above. 0.618 weekly level. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Ideally, I would like the 15-minute candle body to close below. That would be great. Just to get the body to close below. Right. So, let's see if this plays out, guys. Small little scalp. If it falls a little bit to the downside. Okay. I mean... That's a small stop loss, guys. If you're blowing a hole in your account with a trade like this, you are going in way too heavy. Okay? I'm just sharing with you how I trade. There's no ways that I will blow a hole in my account with a trade like this. No ways. Okay, it could fall a little bit here to the downside. Maybe it's going to come and retest this daily and weekly point of control where it broke out. So, I mean, there's a possibility for this trade to get there where it turns into a 12 risk to reward. But, you know, usually when it gets to like a 2 risk to reward, that's usually where I take some decent profits already. As always, guys, there's a chance to get stopped out of this one. Always a high chance. Could also create a double top where it does that and it rejects again. So let's see how this plays out. Ting. Now I want to continue with the technical analysis. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put an alarm. Oh, I've got my exchange open here, but I'm going to put an alarm above this week so that I know if I get stopped out. Okay, and then I'm going to continue with the technical analysis. Right, so in a nutshell, let me wrap this scenario up over here. Okay, in a nutshell, there is a chance for this to be a 1 or a A. Those two. So this can be a 5-wave structure in a 1 or a A. This is the corrective structure for a 2 or a B. Right, and now I need to zoom out a little bit here on the 30-minute time frame. So what could play out over here is price forms an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the difference with the impulse versus the ABC is the impulse gives you an extra leg to the upside. Okay. So this is what can unfold over here. So it gets acceptance back inside of the range. It invalidates the impulse to the downside like I've shared already. And price rock and rolls. Okay, it was very frustrating for me, guys. This long for me was not an easy long. That long was not an easy long. And I have gone through this in my previous live stream where I told everyone I was waiting, okay, patiently waiting for this. I was waiting for this. I wanted to see that, just that, and I would have gotten in. There was also the breakout from the trend that I shared inside of the community. So I did share the trade. I said, guys, if it breaks here, it could go higher. I'm not taking it because the risk to reward for me doesn't make sense. So I didn't take it. And now price is what it is. So hindsight, yes, I should have taken it. Maybe just gone in with a little bit less cash. But you know, guys, it's the rules of my strategies that keeps me profitable. Because often I follow my rules and price does exactly what you don't want it to do. And I'm like, thank goodness I followed my rules for my strategy. Okay? Because I was waiting for the 0.618 to be claimed. Okay? There was also another level there I can't remember. But when I take a fib from the low to the high, the 0.382 got front run by a couple of dollars. And I was waiting for the SFP, okay? I was just waiting for that. Like, ka-ching, give me that. Just give me that. And it didn't want to give it to me. And then I highlighted in the community the trend breakout. And I said, guys, pay attention. Risk to reward doesn't make sense for me. And then I saw people send me messages after the fact telling me they took the trade. I was like, well done. If you're leaving a runner here to the upside, well, then you should be nicely in profits at the moment. So well done. Okay, so there was another way to get into the trade. At least I did share the trade. I said there's another way to get in. If it's not going to do this, there's another way to get in. Okay, and now I only caught it here. So it's a little bit higher up, but I still manage my risk very well. So if it wants to continue, I will make money with the long that I'm in at the moment on Bluffin. Right. It also looks like a little bit of a, it's okay. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Also looks a little bit like a diamond pattern that formed over here. And now price broke out of the diamond. So if it comes back, retests the diamond, and it can continue here to the upside. Right. Let's get back here on the 15-minute time frame. Remember, bearish case scenario is that price rejects and it forms a larger three-wave structure where then that long that I wanted to get into, okay, is a better opportunity, better risk to reward for me. From a volume perspective, there is some nice volume here. I have to show you guys. I was watching this volume node. Do you guys see this volume node? Let me do this. This is also where I was waiting for the long. Right there. Okay. Price is now attempting to break out of this value area range. So there's a good chance it's going to continue and stop me out of this short. Almost going to get stopped out. Just waiting for the alarm. Okay. Right. But there's a good chance that price could continue here to the upside based on the scenarios that I'm going to discuss now. So first scenario is this is a wave. This is a wave 1 or A. Okay. Correction is done in a WXY. WXY. A, B, C in a W and a B, C in a Y. Beautiful WXY. This could be the end. And now price is, okay, now we're going to analyze this structure. What is happening here? Okay, what can this turn into? Can it still reject? Because for the moment, as long as price is above the value area high, it's either going to create a deviation and fall back down, or it's out. It's now finally broken out, okay? And it's going to continue momentum here to the upside. You guys will hear if I get stopped out. You will hear ka-ching. So what I want to look at now is the there I'm stopped out. Okay, small loss for me, guys. Okay, there's the alarm as well, but now I can delete the alarm. It was worth an attempt, got the reaction. Okay, I'm not bothered about the loss. It was way less than 0.5% even of my portfolio here on 2bit. It was a tiny trade. Okay, momentum is to the upside, so I'm being careful with the short. And but generally for SFPs, I hardly ever go in with 1%. I usually go in with less than that because I can be aggressive with my stop loss, and I know that the move either to the up or to the downside is going to be significant. Okay, so anyways, that's just my style of trading. So the most interesting zone to the upside, okay, because you can see, I'm not sure if you guys can see, there's a little volume node there where the point of control is, and now it's breaking out of that point of control where I attempted to short right now. That little high volume node. But the more significant one is this one. Can you guys see that? It's a little bit there in the shade. Okay. Let me see if I have it here. There we go. So price is now at resistance and it's attempting to break through. I had an attempt, got stopped out. Now I'm not interested anymore. Unless it rejects and falls back below. Maybe then I'll attempt another short. But now this is the more interesting one. Okay, because that's where the most volume is. Let me just make it a nice little blood red over there. That's where the most volume is. And also when I take a fib from the high to the low of the structure, you can see it's also in alignment with the 0.7 Fibonacci. So that will be my only other short attempt. It either rejects here or it doesn't. And it continues to break out. So this is where I will attempt another short. It's just, for me, it's as simple as that. I have volume, I have a Fibonacci level, and I can attempt to short. I just want to make sure if there's are there any other levels there? And there's a weekly level. So it's definitely an area of confluence. There's a weekly level. It's the 0.7, 0.786. Okay. It is an interesting zone for me to pay attention to a short. I'm now not interested to short this zone because it looks like momentum is continuing to the upside. Volume is increasing. Buying pressure is increasing. So the only level that I will be interested now is this one. You can treat the zero, guys, I know these lines are very thin. I like to have my lines thin when I'm trading so I can see price action go through the line up and down. But just to make it a little bit thicker so everyone can see it here on the live stream, there is a 0.618 here, a little bit in the middle between the two. It can reject, guys. If you do what the SFP method that I've just shared with you, maybe it does that. Definitely an attempt. I am more interested in this zone because it has way more confluence. It has volume, weekly level, 0.7. Technically, for me, that's a better level to trade. Okay. Let's take the noise here out the chart. I can take this out the way. Let's just clean up the kitchen a little bit over here. Okay, let's go back here onto the 30-minute time frame. And now I want to discuss this local structure that is forming here to the upside. Okay, because one of the scenarios that I highlighted this morning inside of the community, guys, remember the alpha, everything's always shared first inside of the community. After I'm done with the live stream, I take another trade, I share that inside of the community. Okay, if you want to be part of the community, send me the word access. There's my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. If you sign up with one of the affiliate partners, you make a minimum deposit, you can get 2 months free access. Right, so basically in a nutshell, the only level that I'm interested in trading now is the weekly level. It's as simple as that. Okay, I had to go through everything to tell everyone, well, there's a weekly level that I'm interested in trading. Now you know there's high volume in that level. There's a 0.7 Fibonacci. Okay. Go. Bas Maria, you most probably got into that long. If I know you correctly, you most probably played the D-line the same way that I did. Because Maria, she is an absolute star when it comes to the D-line strategy. Much love, Devils and Legends. Welcome to the live stream. Okay. Wonder if this can flat the 80k area course. Many times when BTC doing a flat, it was fast, like little retrace to no retrace. Flat A, B, C. Oh, that's going to be too high for a flat, depending on which structure you're looking at. You're basically saying, I'm not sure if you're meaning this one, A, B, C. I'm not sure if you mean that one, or you mean this one, A, B, C. I don't know. You see, I need to see what you mean. Right. So from a simplicity perspective, also this trend is breaking out. Okay, that was the one that I was watching as well. That one's breaking out at the moment. So it looks like momentum is shifting to the upside. Only short I will consider is the weekly level, like I've just highlighted, but it can continue even if it rejects. Remember guys, it can reject, form a corrective structure down and continue. So this is why it's important for me to manage my trade properly, because one scenario that I want to share here on this little local structure is the following. This can rock and roll here to the upside. Let me just clean up the chart. And let me see if I did save that. Otherwise, I'll have to redo that scenario. Okay, here we go. This can do this. Right, this is a scenario that I shared this morning in the community. This momentum here to the upside can also be A or a 1. It can be a 2 or a B. This is what I said, invalidation for the scenario, and then price has now formed a 1, 2, which is in, and is now busy with a third wave here to the upside. Where basically what you want to see in the most bullish case scenario is you want this to continue. Okay, you want this to continue. And maybe create another 4 and a 5, and then that can be a C or a 3. Take that out the way. Yeah, take that out the way. Just want to see where's that weekly level. Yeah, let's see how that's. If this is going to be a third wave here to the upside, it can reject at the weekly level, but I would expect it to continue a little bit higher because the third waves are usually the most aggressive. I mean, if this is your, let me just do this. If this is your 1, this is your 2, and it's now starting with a third wave here to the upside, I want to see volume increasing. It does look like the average volume will start increasing. So you really want to see continuation, okay? Because you want your third wave to be the longest, the most aggressive. And then you want to see a little bit of choppy action like what happened here, okay, to create another leg to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correction, maybe continuation, or the end of something. Because this could also be A, B, C that reject. Yeah, so I'll see how that reacts when it gets there. Right, so basically the most bullish case scenario that I spoke about this morning in the community is that this is an impulsive structure, correction, and now you want to see continuation to the upside. This can form a larger 3-wave structure and still fall down. Or it creates a 4 and a 5. The retracement becomes an interesting longing opportunity because now you have an impulse to the upside. Right, the bearish case scenarios I think has been invalidated. Let me just check here quickly. Yeah, this is another scenario obviously that now got invalidated. This is another scenario that I was watching this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. which is basically also your A and your 1, and price could have formed a larger three-wave structure where I was looking for a long. And then I saw the breakout and I was like, okay, this might not happen. Maybe it's going to push through over here, and that's the long that I'm in at the moment. So this one has got invalidated. I can delete it. That's the one I've just spoken about. I'm just going through all of my folders here. Local resistance, it's now breaking above resistance at the moment. So for now, this is a bullish sign. It's breaking resistance with high volume. So it can do a RS flip at the moment, flip resistance back into support. Next area of resistance to the upside is that zone. Okay. The bearish case scenario has also been invalidated, where basically price has formed a W, X, and a Y. A, B, C, W, X, and A, B. This can still extend, and that's basically your ABC, okay, and a Y wave. But it still has to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has to form a 5-wave structure. So this scenario has actually not been invalidated. It was this one. Okay. And let me explain why this scenario is not invalidated. It's because Y can extend. Ooh, do you guys see that? I just want to make this a little bit lighter so I want to show you that level that's hiding there inside of that box. Do you guys see the level that's hiding inside of this box, the 1.618? So this scenario, ladies and gentlemen, has not been invalidated. So basically what's going to happen here is that this little arrow does that. So you have an ABC in a W, you have a 3-wave corrective structure in a X, and you have a 3-wave A flat in a B, and now this C is basically extending to the upside, which is forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, where it can reject inside of this zone. So this scenario is still valid, and the problem with these scenarios is you never know how long the C wave is going to be, because the minimum requirement is a 5-wave structure to the upside. So C can be done there. There's 5 waves inside of this move to the upside. If you zoom into the smaller time frames, this is an impulsive structure, high volume, so there's a chance that, okay, that's your ABC, it's done. And then sometimes what happens is the C wave says, no, that was my first leg inside of the C wave. This is my second. Now I'm doing 3, 4, 5. And then all of this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It forms a larger C wave to the upside. So this little bad boy has not been invalidated. I just want to see what it looks like from a timing perspective, but I'm sure from a timing perspective, it's still fine. I want to measure W against Y. Yeah, it's just past the 1-to-1 extension. It's not even at the 2 extension yet. So this structure is still in balance. This structure is still in balance compared to what happened here. So still an interesting zone. Okay. Let's see how price reacts when it hits the 1.236, which is the closest level at the moment. I would expect some reaction at that level because you can see how well the 1-to-1 extension was respected. I'll just take this out the way. Literally tapped the 1-to-1 extension and got the rejection. Ka-ching! And that is a target for a Y wave. Next target, all of these are also targets for a Y wave. So it might not get to the resistance, but I told everyone what my plan is. If it doesn't get here, I ain't shorting. Yes, you can play SFPs at these levels, if you know how to do it responsibly. Okay, so I'm now just curious to see how that is going to reject, or how far it's going to extend. But this scenario is still very much in play. Okay, just want to clean up the kitchen ever so slightly over here. Right, so you're basically looking at this. So the Y wave can still extend here to the upside. I have seen Y waves even tap the 2 extension. Okay, so definitely still a bearish scenario. The problem with this scenario is that it's a 3-wave structure. When it's a 3-wave structure to the upside, the probabilities are always high to claim the lows. So based on the bullish case scenario, you actually want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to see a bigger 5-wave structure, counting this structure as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to see a bigger 5-wave structure to invalidate this 3-wave structure. Okay, but I will keep the community up to date if I do. Okay, as the structure develops. It's still going to take a while though. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already and you guys do enjoy the education. Remember, Andy is on a break, so I will be with you the whole week. He might pop in from time to time, might. Okay, but I will be here. Like the trade that I've shared this morning inside of the community. Guys, I'm not... Let me bring up the comments. Let's just have some fun here with some comments. All good, I'm home. Doesn't have to. BTC does what it wants. Yes, it does what it wants. It's about trading with a plan and executing according to your plan. Guys, I'm not sure if you noticed that this channel is the best trading channel ever existed. Rich Thai 63, much love. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Okay. Dear old as daddy. What is this? Dear old as daddy. Right, do you short at 65,700? 65,700? Yeah, well, it's the zone that I am eyeing for the short at the 1.618. Okay, flying, waiting for short. Be here. Oh, deleted, retracted. Okay, glad to hear it. You guys having a chat with yourself a little bit over there. But now you can see, I like to see the reactions at these levels. So you can see that it's reacting here at the 1.236. I like to see the reaction at these Fibonacci levels because they now know it's a valid Fib pool. Which means if price continues up, okay, this area becomes interesting, even more interesting. Because the 0.618 got that reaction. The 0.7 got that reaction and that reaction. Okay, the 1-to-1 got tapped to perfection and fell to the downside. And now the 1.236 is getting a reaction. All of these three targets are Y-wave targets. But remember, this has to form a 5-wave structure to the upside. It cannot, based on this scenario, it cannot end here and fall down. Because this is a 3-wave structure. It has to form a C wave. Because there's already an A, there's already a B, and now it needs to go up in a C. And this is a 3-wave structure, and a C wave is not allowed to be a 3-wave structure, so it needs to continue. Maybe it forms an ending diagonal, who knows, okay? Maybe it does something like this. It forms an ending diagonal. But it has to be a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, it looks more impulsive. Ending diagonal has to be 3-wave structures, I know. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to go into the smaller time frames to try and figure out if this is a 3-wave structure, but what I'm trying to highlight is it needs to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5-wave structure. Whether it's an impulse, whether it's an ending diagonal, it needs to be a 5-wave structure for this scenario to be valid. Yeah, most bullish case scenarios that it forms triple nested 1-2s, okay, but then it's not going to be this scenario. If price forms a 1-2 and it rejects here and it does this, you could have a multi 1-2 and then it rock and rolls in a 3rd wave, which is most probably going to invalidate the scenario, and it's going to turn out to be something a lot more bullish. Because I know 3rd waves loves nested 1-2s. You have a 1, 2, 3, Okay, inside of your third wave, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then it has to create fourth wave for that, and then go up again. So I don't know what's going to play out over here, but I have my levels ready. Ooh, there's 2 extension with a SFP. Now that also looks interesting. Nice little SFP from the 2 extension, which is most probably the 786 if I'm not mistaken. That's slightly above. Okay. So I've done the higher time frame analysis. I've done the smaller time frame analysis. Now it's just a waiting game, guys. The 1.236 is currently getting a nice little rejection. I like to see that. I just want to see what CVD is doing. Let's refresh this. Okay. You know, as price was, well, that little retracement, CVD just absolutely fell here to the downside, confirming momentum back to the upside. But for the moment, yeah, I would argue that we actually have bullish CVD still. Okay, there's people aggressively trying to short at the moment, so momentum could still continue here to the upside. Remember, if you want to join the community, send me the word access. Okay, if you want access to this tool that I've just shown you, CVD, it's the only indicator that I use. It also has the economic calendar. I might have to just make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Do we have high impact news today? Only on Thursday. Oh, wait, I need to scroll up. Tomorrow we have building permits, housing starts. Wednesday we have Fed interest rate decision. No, this was last week, guys. We are already in 22nd of June. Okay, so yeah, that's maybe that's why it defaulted over here. We only have Thursday. That's it. We only have Thursday. Sorry guys, I was smoking my socks. We only have Thursday, which is the 25th of June. So no high impact news for the rest of the week until we get to Thursday, 2:30. High impact news. Anyways, guys, you get access to all of these tools. You get liquidity, you get bubbles, heat maps, CVD. Okay, and here's the link. Free for now. Here's the link. If you want to hit that like button. Right, and that is this is the only short that I will consider. If price rolls down from here, I am still in the short over there. I'm still in that short. Then I'll benefit from that short. Okay, but I'm not really interested to short momentum to the upside with some buying pressure kicking in until it gets to an area where I'm interested in the short. Now, it's still going to take a while before it gets to this trend. Okay, that trend doesn't really make sense at the moment. Right, I just want to see if I have spoken about all the scenarios. Okay. So in this WXY scenario, this can still be an impulse to the upside in an A or a 1. It can form a larger 3-wave structure and still bounce. Okay, so that is an interesting short because it can form a 3-wave structure here to the upside. And this can be an A, a B, and a C. WXY, doesn't matter. 3-wave structure. Most bullish case scenario is the low is in. And price is building impulses back to the upside. Where basically this becomes 1, 2, it's now busy with a 3-wave and it needs to form a 5-wave structure to the upside. Okay, where will I be looking for this short? Now that is the question. Where will I be looking for that short? Because this could be an A, a B, and a C. price falls back down. Remember, on the higher time frame, I've shared that scenario. So the level that does look interesting is the top of this range. And I actually think I do have that level here somewhere. I just need to look for it. Local trends, alternative. Just want to see where I put that level. I'll talk about that in a moment. I actually have this scenario already. WXY, WXY, it forms an impulse to the upside. But let me just keep it simple, okay? Or let me do it fresh so you guys can see. It's basically, if I take a horizontal, I use my magnet and I snap it onto the top of the range. Make it nice, fat and white. Okay. When I take a fib from this high, oops, let's try that again. Come on, snap on. From the high to the low, you can see there's also the 0.5. So in the most bearish case scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is why I'm still very interested in a short if price gets there. Range high, 0.5. Maximum target for a fourth wave should not claim the 0.618, and price can still form a three-wave structure, reject, fall down, and make another low. That is why that zone is still, for me, an interesting short. Okay, there is an easier way to trade this, a more relaxed way. So let me bring up that scenario. There's obviously the most bearish one, but I'm just going to show you guys this one. This is the scenario that could still play out. So the more relaxed way of trading this is to say that, well, you build a position in this zone, you know exactly where your stop loss needs to go, and you're targeting the lows. That's a way more relaxed way to trade this price action, is that you build a position, you know exactly where to put your stop loss, you're targeting the lows. And in this scenario, you can actually trade with limit orders. And I'm not going to go through all the preachings of why I don't like to trade like this. Okay, I'm just saying there's a scenario. You can trade it like this. You need to manage your risk. Okay, I am not going to trade it like this. I would rather get into the swing failure from this level, like I did with this short. I'm going to execute it exactly the same if price gets there. So the most bearish case scenario is still on the table, where, well, not the most, the scenario where price takes the low is still on the table, because this can still form an A, a B, a C, reject. Okay. WXY could also be a WXY. It can also be a WX, A, B, C, but still looking at the same zone. If I do jump into a fresh trade, and maybe I get stopped out of the trades that I'm in at the moment, but if I do jump into a fresh trade, obviously I will share that inside of the community. Like the trade that we are in. I mean, Andy would have most probably gone live now and said, I need to give Devil the shout out. This trade highlighted inside of the community. Right, legends. And if you'd like to join the community, just send me the word access. There's my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how to join. But basically, still in this trade, I've already taken a chunk of profits. I'm leaving a runner to hedge against my short. Okay, so I am not taking more profits until I get stopped out of the short. That's my plan. I've taken enough. I'm hedging against my long. The long is now hedging against my short. let's go through some comments. And this long was highlighted inside of the community. Let me see if I can bring up the community. Basically, okay, there was all the updates this morning, WXY, basically what I've spoken about now, but that is where price was when I took the long. Then changed it and told everyone I'm de-risking my position because I don't want price to get below this trend. If price breaks below this trend, it's going to be bearish. Okay, and there was a three-wave. Can you guys see? There's a three-wave structure to the upside. So I was like, flip, this can reject. Okay, I'm de-risking my position. It needs to form another wave to the upside. Luckily, it did without claiming the 0.618. Okay, de-risk the position. Don't want price to get below the trend. Fees and stop loss is now covered because price kept on going to the upside, right? So this trade was shared inside of the community. Well, I'm basically just sharing how I trade the markets. I'm not sharing so that people can take the trade. I'm sharing because I'm showing people the trades that I am taking, my personal trades. Okay. Put some music on. Much love, Devil and Legends. Going to breakfast with friends now. Oh, nice. What a beautiful Monday. I traded a bunch this weekend, so I'm taking a few days off. I know, Mariara, you actually shared with me that you made some nice trades over the weekend. You actually got successful trades over the weekend just using your trading strategy successfully. Okay, it's a very strong chart right now. A very strong chart right now. Yeah, still looking for potential short. Let's see how that plays out when that weekly level gets tapped. Okay, we're trading at the big range value area low. Yes, I know, and this is where it can definitely reject. I just want to see if I zoom out a little bit. Let's see if we have confluence over here. I want to take it from here. Yeah, the 0.5 is in the range again, so it does make that a little bit of a, but I mean all trades, guys. I can't say it makes it a dangerous trade because every trade comes with risk. You just have to manage it well. Okay, but price is now here at the value area low. At the value area low. And this is now where it's getting the reaction. But I still like that weekly level more. I am very happy to miss a trade if my level doesn't get hit. Like down here, because I know there's another trade around the corner. Today, I made that trade. I made some money today with this long here to the upside. Okay, but this, if I zoom, I know, guys, it looks very messy. Okay, let me just clean it up a little bit. Okay, I know it looks very messy, but there's a consolidation area. There's high volume inside of this range. So maybe price pushes up and rejects. Okay, that is the short that I am interested in, where price forms a lower high and it can still form a lower low. I cannot say or feel bullish and just say it's guaranteed. That is guaranteed. I can't. I need to trade the opportunities in front of me. I can be bullish, yeah, and I can be bearish over there. I can be a bull and a bear in the same day. I can short, I can long, and I'm just basically scratching my dollars from the market as a day trader. So let's see how price reacts there. Okay, that is the zone that I'm waiting for. Let's go here onto the 1 hour. It hasn't tapped this value area low just as yet. It's most probably in confluence with that 0.382. Now you guys can see how beautifully this 1.236 got the reaction. Rejected, fell to the downside. Nice little reaction. I'm not interested in that trade, but I know some of you are degens. You must probably jumped into that trade. Okay, let's see if it was already profitable. If you got the rejection. If you played this rejection, because I know there's some degens here. Okay, if you got in over here and your stop is above the high and price failure to the downside, it's already a 3.6 risk to reward. It's amazing. It's an amazing scalp trade already. You should already have bank profits. Okay, you could have already been out, because I know some traders, when they play SFPs, if it's a 2 risk to reward, they get out. They're done. They play the reaction, they get in, they get out, they take their profits, they wait for the next level. So they must probably now waiting for the next level to take the same trade. Done. Ka-ching. Now I'm waiting for this one. Ka-ching. And then I'm waiting for that one. Ka-ching. Right? I know some of you trade like that very successfully. But now you have to be patient, because now you have to wait for the next level. Maybe you leave a run at it. It just depends on how you manage your trade. But this trade has played out. Well, it depends on where your profit taking areas and things are. But for me, when the risk to reward is more than 2 already, okay, stop goes above the high. Maybe you entered even a little bit late. Maybe you entered late. Okay, 2 risk to reward was already tapped over there. Beautiful, beautiful little scalp. What prevents people from taking these trades successfully is greed. They enter and they expect this. From a risk to reward perspective, it's a beautiful trade. It's already more than a 2 risk to reward. And I can tell you now, from a technical perspective, a 3 risk to reward is beautiful. It's amazing. I take profits, I protect position, cover my stop loss. Well, I would have done that already. Taken some profits, fees will be covered, stop loss will be covered, and there will be profits in the bag. It's just how I like to trade. And then you leave a runner. Like I'm doing now with a long. I left a runner. Already took most of the profits, but now I'm leaving a runner here to the upside, because I'm still in that short. And this is a nice little new thing that they brought in here onto Bluffin, where you can now use the line to take partial profits as well. This is great. Bluffin always coming with the new enhancements. Right, now we just... Oh, well, if you protected this position, you should be stopped out now, depending on where you entered. Or if you left your stop loss above the high, you should still be in the trade. But now again, the momentum to the downside looks corrective, increasing the probabilities to take the high again. This looks corrective, overlappy, choppy structure. It needs to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction. That's your short. Continue to the downside. This is highly likely a corrective structure, which means probabilities increase to take the high. Okay, even if it does this, probabilities are still higher to take the high because of this structure. But I mean, guys, this is 1 minute crap. Okay, you very seldom find me on the 1 minute time frame, but I mean, this morning I did trade the 3 minute time frame. Okay, looking for a trade. So what could happen here is you have your 1, your 2, and your 3. It forms a 4 and a 5. It retraces. We'll see how the structure unfolds. I mean, no one can predict the market, unfortunately. But this is the most bearish case scenario that I see at the moment, is an unfinished WXY. Most bullish case scenario is that this is a 1, this is a 2. And now it's forming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside of a 3. Then it forms a 4 and a 5. It rejects above the highs, where I'm keeping an eye on that level. Now that to me is an interesting short. That's an interesting short. So you guys can see how I use Elliott wave theory in confluence with support, resistance, Fibonacci levels. Okay. You shorting already? No, I got stopped out of the naked point of control. I'm not shorting now. I'm sure the only short I will consider is at $65,000, 700, 800, give or take. That zone. Okay, let me give it a box. I'm gonna say, I know it's a big box, but that's the box I will consider a short. Let me take this out the way. Let's clean up the kitchen, like I like to say. That is the box where I will consider the short. And the reason I made the box a little bit bigger is because I know that the 2 fib can be tapped. I have seen it before. The 2 extension. From a Fibonacci perspective, just want to get that exact. Come on, snap on. Okay, now it's just frustrating me. So it's the 0.7 to the 0.786, this zone. So for me, that's a good zone to look for a short. And I ain't shorting until price gets there. And if price does not get there, well, that's the beauty about being in a hedge trade. I'm already in a short from higher up. I'm already in this short. So if price does not get there, then I'll benefit from this short and it falls down. Great. Then I'll take a little bit more profits at the lows. But yeah, I'm going to be very interested in the long. If it does get here, then I'll be interested in a short. And like I said, guys, unless you SFP the levels that I've highlighted, little scalp trades, like I've just highlighted here on the 1 minute time frame, okay, you play these little scalps. Okay, you can see how these fib levels are so powerful, getting the reaction at the 1.236, getting the reaction at the 1-to-1 extension. So naturally, the next level also becomes interesting to play a little short, a little scalp short. But I'm looking to play a bigger move. Okay, I want to play a bigger move. These little trades are great, guys. I know if you're scalping, okay, these little trades are great. Maybe it falls a little bit down. Maybe it goes back up and it falls down again. You know, it's great little scalp trades, but I'm looking for a bigger rejection. I'm looking to play a bigger move. Just like the short over here, nice big move. I'm not into the scalping game so much, you know, just to play those small little scalps. It takes too much screen time. And if I am live, maybe I do a private live stream inside of the community and we do the dark side of trading, then I will take them. Okay, I will definitely take them. But I'm always more interested in the bigger moves. I want to play the bigger moves, especially this one here to the upside. Okay, that one. Can you guys see that one? If price gets there, now that could be a big move. That could be a big move. $68,000. Hi Devil, did you always had mustache? No, I just decided to grow it recently. I sometimes grow it and then I shave. I get irritated. The reason you will never see me with this for long is because I get irritated with it very quickly. It starts itching and it irritates me, and so it will most probably stay here for a week or two and then it will go again. And then I'll maybe grow it again or just keep on shaving it. At the gym, Legends A Trader. I actually went to gym just before I started the live stream. So, Mr. A Trader, I know you are very dedicated, also gymming every day. I pumped some legs today. But guys, I have a little bit of a problem when I go to gym. They usually give me the keys for the gym because I have to go when they close down. Otherwise, there's not enough weights for me. If there's people in the gym and they're using weights, then I don't have enough. Okay. If you watch the 4-hour chart, the last candle just broke the D line. The last candle. Let's check here on the 4-hour time frame. Which D line? From which? From where? Are you talking about this one? Okay, I'm not sure which D line you are referring to. Is it this one? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out where you get your... Ooh, what is this? Now, I prefer people sharing with me their analysis inside of the community, and then you can show me what you mean. Okay, it's difficult to try and figure out when people type and you're limited by the words. You can't share a picture. What is RSI doing? Is there still a way to get into this long? That is a good question. I don't know your thoughts on divergences, but there is a massive bullish divergence developing on the weekly time frame. Yeah, the problem with weekly time frames is they take so long to play out. So long. Okay, let's tackle the thing first. Is there still an opportunity to get into the long? And I would say yes, there is an opportunity. If price rejects, so let me do this. Let's say price rejects. If price goes higher, then I'll just drag the FIB up. But this is now the price action that I have at the moment. Okay. Price action always becomes interesting for me to look for longs. So this is an interesting zone to look for longs. I would actually say that. Let's make it green so it looks happy and everyone doesn't get scared because it's red. And then this little zone over here is, for me, interesting to look for longs because I can see an impulsive structure to the upside. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then price has formed these consolidation areas. So to keep it simple, okay, you're basically looking for a bounce in this zone. But from a price action perspective, if I want to be a little bit more specific, then I'll look for an SFP from the 0.5, okay, or the 0.7. Because price can form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe this is an impulsive structure that's done, okay. It comes back down choppy and it bounces back up. Or it goes a little bit further and it bounces back up. But basically your invalidation is $64,000. That's your invalidation. If momentum is going to continue to the upside, you don't want price to take this low. But I cannot long here. I can't. Because then all of this happens deep underwater, hoping for price to do this and then it falls. I would rather look for a long here so that I have better risk management, a tighter stop loss. Okay, a tighter stop loss. Obviously, the 0.7 is going to be the best level. Also, to put it more simple. Okay, let me take the boxes here out the way. Take the fib out. Price broke the weekly naked point of control, and there's also a daily level there. So, price broke out. It got the rejection this morning the whole time. It kept on rejecting from these two levels. So from a simplicity perspective, if price comes back down, it could come and retest these levels as support, because now it's doing an RS flip. So that zone becomes interesting for a long. But I can't long here. Unless you're scalping the smaller time frames on the 1 minute, 30 second, 15 second time frame. Okay, this long should have been taken here. Or if it retraces, here. Not for me, guys, and remember, I'm just sharing with you how I approach the markets. I cannot long here. If volume has already increased, it means that you're potentially longing the top of the structure. I can't long there. Even if it continues, okay, then I'm looking for a short. I'm already looking for a short, while some people will jump into a long over here. That's how people lose money. Because, oh, it's pumping. Okay, oh, it's pumping. Let me jump into a long. Oh, shit. Now I'm underwater. Exit the position, get liquidated, whatever the case might be. Oh, it's pumping. Let me jump into a long. I'm sure you have all been on that side of the camp, okay, where you're longing the tops and you're shorting the bottoms. Okay, but there is a chance, if price falls further here to the downside, okay, there's a chance for a 1, 2, 3, maybe a 4 and a 5 still. And there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside of the third wave. So in this scenario, if it's still going to form a 5-wave structure here to the upside, then the 0.618 should not be claimed. From this low to the high. You want the fourth wave not to tap the 0.618. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It rejects again. And then it can continue. Unfortunately, on the smaller time frames, there's many ways to count this, because number 3 can also maybe move here somewhere, and that is your 4, and that is your 5 to the upside. The impulse is done, and then it comes back here to these levels. Okay. I'm just counting it like this because I can see 5 waves inside of the third wave. I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it can still form a 4 and another 5, then reject again, and then go back up. Ek word flippin' baie so gevang. Yeah, I mean, it's the story of our lives, right, guys? Especially when you start out, longing the tops, shorting the bottoms. Okay, how often have you fallen into that trap? You can successfully jump into little scalps, guys, but like I said, scalping is not easy. You can scalp the range on the smaller time frames. Okay, it's always great in hindsight, and I don't trade a trend that doesn't make sense, but there was a nice little breakout. Now, here you can get in with great risk management. You can get in following a plan. You're targeting the highs, you leave a runner, you have a stop loss. Okay. Risk to reward makes sense. And now you wait for another trend to form. Ooh, here we go. Maybe that was 4. And now it's doing 5 here to the upside. Where's 5? Your 5 is all the way here. Or it's part of an ABC, we'll see. So now, you know, if you want to scalp the range, it's not a sexy trend, this. Okay, I don't like to trade. I wait for trends that make sense, but this could also be an A, B, C, and then it goes back up. But anyways, guys, for me, this is not where I want to jump into a long. Okay, unless you're scalping the range, but you have to wait for a nice, well, I usually wait for a nice trend to form. If the trend doesn't make sense, I don't trade it. This doesn't make sense for me to trade. That one is nice. This one didn't make sense. This one for me also didn't make sense, unless you're now going into the 15-second time frame. Then you are super scalping. Okay. Yeah, but this could be a three-wave structure in an A. Okay, maybe it can still do this. It can still do this. Three-wave structure in A, B, C, and then it goes back up. Okay, it's not easy to long over here. SFP from the high, that's better. Better to look for shorts in this zone. But this is, I mean, guys, this is 1 minute stuff, okay? Yes, sir, you had it right. Maybe he means D-line from the lows. Which wave are we trading into 4 hour and 1 hour on BTC? Which wave are we trading in on 4 hour and 1 hour on BTC? I'm not sure I understand your question. Devolt, a D-line from all-time highs to today. Oh, all-time highs. Francis, let me check that out. All-time high. Let's go to the daily. We need the daily for that. All-time high. You talking about all-time high? This one? This one? I have to put the trend like this, guy. I can't put the trend like this because the low was claimed. Okay, the low was claimed. As soon as the low is claimed, I have to adjust my trend to the new highs. So, an interesting shorting opportunity, I'm not sure if this is maybe the short that you are referring to. An interesting shorting opportunity is for price to tap the trend. So if price gets to the trend, which is also the 8-hour order block, now that is an interesting short. 3-wave structure up and 5-wave structure down. I'm sure the 8-hour order block is there. I know that's a lot of levels, guys. Let me just look for the local ones that I did this morning. There. That's the range. Oh, this was actually the one that I was looking for. I think I deleted it. I always delete my folders by mistake, guys. I know I should lock them, and I do lock them, but then sometimes I edit them and then... There we go. It was this one. I just want to see where I put... I can't remember where I put the 8-hour order block. There we go. It's in the daily folder. Okay, so if price does that, very interesting short. Falls down. Exactly. Okay, Francis... or Francois, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but yes, definitely an interesting short. If it does not reject here, I will definitely be looking at that short. Because remember this, if this can be an A, okay, this can be an A, price can form an A, B, C in a B, and then go back up for a C. This structure can still become larger as long as it does not tap the 1.618, which is basically a trend-based fib from the low to the high. Let's drag that across. Let's reverse it, put on the flat targets. There we go. Big zone, but I mean definitely something that can play out. Okay, from the 0.9 up until the 0.382, I like to make them orange. Just having some fun with what could potentially play out here. This scenario can form a larger three-wave structure, reject at the 8-hour order block, fall down, and then form an A, B, C. That then gives you a B. It needs to find support inside of the orange box. There's daily levels. I'm sure we have weekly. We have a lot of support there to the downside. And then it goes back up for a C, and price forms a ABC flat. That would be interesting. Because what makes this scenario interesting, I just want to clean up some of the levels here, is the following, that if I take a time fib from the low to the high, okay, that low was made before the 0.382. So if price forms a larger three-wave structure, then it's better, because then it's better from a timing perspective. But Francois, definitely. Francois, definitely. Okay, a rejection. Or diagonal rejection, order block rejection. And remember, guys, to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. Just having some fun here with the community, going through some questions, reading the comments. And if I do jump into a fresh trade, I do share how I enter my trades inside of the community. That's where I shared the long trade this morning, was inside of the community. Send me the word access to my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. If you want to see the CVD indicator, it's the only indicator that I use. I don't use any other indicators. Here's the free tools where you get almost everything that I use from a trading perspective. Okay. Ooh, price made another high. Nice. The long is printing. That's great. The long is printing here to the upside. It wasn't a big position, but I'm in. That's what matters. Profits is profits. It's a free trade. That's how I love to trade, guys. It's not about, and I speak about this so often. For me, what I've learned over the years, it's not about how much money I'm making here to the upside. It was about how well I managed my risk when I was getting into the trade. That, to me, was more important than the money I'm making here to the upside. Because when you get this right, that's where things changed for me. It's great to make money here to the upside. That's great, guys. But it's when you are wrong. Can you be wrong and still make money? Okay. Because you will see here. Let's see how this plays out. This is where I entered. Right there when it broke out. And then de-risk the position. You got here. You can see how focused I am on my risk management. I don't care how much money I'm going to make to the upside. I don't care. It's about how I manage my risk so that when I'm wrong, I don't lose anything, and preferably I still get stopped out with profits. De-risk the position. I don't want price to get below the trend. Okay, de-risk the position, basically moving my stop loss up. Fees and stop loss covered. Now I can relax. Now I can relax. Okay, because I know some people might look at this and say, oh, well, that's not a lot of profits, depending on your account size. That's not a lot of profits. Only 2,500 you've taken, and now it's 1,500 in profits. It's not about the money to the upside for me, because when I get this right, with most of my trades, more than You know, the like seven out of 10 or 9 out of 10 trades. When I get this right, it adds up and it adds up. And by the end of the month, I smile. But if you don't get this right and you are only focused on how much money you're going to make, you know, okay, I'm not going to smile the end of the month. I'm most probably going to have a hole in my account because you focused on you focused on the wrong thing. You focused on money. Money is the goal. How much money can I make with every single trade? If you are if I'm focused on how much money I can make with every single trade, and my risk management is secondary, I can tell you now, I'm going to struggle as a trader. The mindset should be, how little can I lose? How well can I manage my risk? And then you can relax. Well, at least for me, that was the most important lesson that I've learned in trading, is that my risk management, you can see, protected position, took profits to the downside, got into the long, managed my risk. Now I leave a runner. Now I make money. Okay, but I managed my risk well. And even if I was wrong and price went against me, I would have gotten stopped out with profits. I don't lose cash. And if I can get this right most of the times, then you can see that, you know, it adds up, it adds up, it adds up. Well, that is what I think makes a trader successful. Okay, that's what I think keeps me successful as a trader. Warren Buffett said, first rule, protect your capital. Rich Ty, I could not agree more. Yes, I 100% agree with you. No trade is also protecting your capital, because you have to also remember, overtrading is a problem, and the reason overtrading is a problem is because every time you open up a trade, you're exposing your cash to risk. And if you're not focused on your risk management, protecting position, covering fees, managing your risk, you know, like I said, was it yesterday that I spoke about it? Usually when I start off with 100% position, I end up with a 30% position running, because I use 70 to 80% of the position size in the beginning to manage my risk, to cover my stop loss, to cover my fees. And then it's the 30% that runs because I'm protecting my capital. I love this. I love the saying. I got 3R risk to reward from that 3 hours ago. Alex, well done, man. Well done. I'm so agreed now. Wish I know it years ago. Devil, can you talk about Coin M to use to ride a bull market? Coin M. What is Coin M? I don't know what Coin M. Maybe I know what it is. I just don't know the name that you've. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Can you talk about Coin M? I don't know what it is. To use it to ride a bull market. Coin M. I don't know what it is. Okay. Price is obviously getting a little bit aggressive here to the upside. This is the daily time frame. Where is the RSI? Just out of curiosity, it is curling, yeah, back to the upside. So let's see if it can continue momentum here to the upside. It's not maxed out yet, luckily, but I'm not an RSI trader, by the way. It's just interesting to look at it. Oh, in Bluffin there's an option. I've actually never used it. So I will do some research, speak to the team, and get back to you. How's that? But no, I've never used it, Francois. I've never used the Coin M thing. So I need to go and do some research, speak to the team, see how it works, and then I can come back and let everyone know whether I'm doing it or not. Okay, or whether it's an interesting solution. You earn profits in BTC. Okay, yeah, exactly. Inverse perpetual. Okay. Interesting. I make my profits in USDT or USDC. Okay, maybe I'm old school. I don't know. Right, legends, if you want to be part of the community, remember, if you want to see how I execute the markets, how I got into this long, how I got into that short, that is shared inside of the community. Send me the word access to my Telegram, and that's I'll send you the instructions on how to join. One of the ways in which you can join is by signing up with one of my partners, exchange partners. Make a minimum deposit of $500, which is your money to trade with, because you're depositing into your account. You trade with it, and then send me the word access to my Telegram, and I'll give you 2 months for free, because you're supporting me by using the links down in the description. You'll get 2 months free access. Right, legends, I have run out of time. I did say I'm going to do a little bit shorter live streams this week because Andy's not here, so I have to look after the community, do YouTube, and just do a little bit more. So I'm not going to have time to do 3-hour long live streams this week, or 4 hours or 5 hours. Okay, so I'm going to cap it around about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm going to cap it. So thank you so much for joining. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. If I do enter a fresh trade, I will let the community know. Link down in the description if you want to join. Have yourselves an amazing Monday. Until the next one, cheers for now.